BlackRock, is there a way to calm that down where they're purchasing all and they're driving up the cost of real estate? You walk around New York City, there are buildings that are full of empty apartments because it's money laundering from people overseas that are stashing money, and it's raising the cost of living for the entire city.
That's exactly right. And you know, if like, I'm actually not a Ron Paul guy. One of my dear friends is a big Ron Paul guy, but like, I've kind of come around to the Ron Paul argument. I don't fully agree with it, but the criticism of the Federal Reserve that makes the most sense to me is that it gives massive corporations a lower cost of money than the average American, right? So part of the reason BlackRock has been able to buy all these homes is you ask, well, what is BlackRock borrowing at? Right? What rate are they borrowing at? Because the average American right now, I think the average mortgage interest rate is somewhere around 7% right now. Okay, BlackRock's borrowing at like 1.5, 2.5%, right? So if they're paying a much lower cost for debt than the average American, then they have a huge advantage. They buy up all the homes, they jack up all the costs. And again, going back to the Jeffersonian idea of Americans as owners and as citizens in their own country, well, what happens when BlackRock owns your home and they say you're not allowed to own a firearm because we own this home, you don't own this home? Okay, there goes the Second Amendment. What if they say, well, for all residents in our places, we don't want you to put up yard signs for certain political candidates? Well, there goes the First Amendment. Yeah. There's a connection, there's a very deep connection between the idea of American citizenship, the full idea, and the liberties that actually make American society such a cool place to live. And if we turn everybody into renters, we're going to destroy that. I mean, I think that, like...
Here's where you're wrong, though. People really like these shows where people buy $20 million homes, like Selling Sunset. Most isn't that as good as owning a home? Because there's 30 shows about people buying mansions, and people get to watch them. So you don't have to cut grass. You can watch somebody else buy a house. But that is what's happening, by the way.
Yeah. You can live in a pod and eat your roasted crickets, but watch other people living the American dream.
People do that. There are people watching people buy houses for tens of millions of dollars who they themselves cannot afford their rent.
Yeah, it's almost like the shows have the purpose of distracting us from the fact that material living standards in this country have been stagnating for many years. Yeah. The fact that we have a set of economic policies that are turning, like, our generation. I mean, I assume you're about my age. Yeah. Like, our generation, especially younger, permanent paupers, permanent renters in the country that their parents and grandparents built.